So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Welcome to my iPhone 12 versus Samsung Galaxy S23 speed test. Let's begin with a boot up in 3, 2, 1. And I'm making this video for those of you considering an upgrade from your iPhone 12 to the Galaxy S23. This is a similar size device. It's just going to be coming to a different platform and having upgraded specifications. So it would be a pretty solid upgrade if you want to try out Samsung and you had an iPhone 12. So the iPhone 12 does turn on a hair quicker than the Samsung Galaxy S23, but that's not a big difference whatsoever. All right, so let's see which one does unlock first. So with the iPhone 12, you will raise to wake and you'll swipe in. Now, what's pretty impressive about the iPhone 12 is even though this came out 3 years ago, almost, not quite, about 3 years ago, it feels almost like the same phone as a brand new 14 that they just launched a yellow version today for. Now with the Samsung, you can actually bypass that lock screen with no swipes, and that kind of just makes it faster to unlock the phone. So you will experience a faster unlocking time if you do decide to come over to the Galaxy S23 from your iPhone 12. In addition, you'll get the under-display fingerprint sensor, and there are rumors that Apple might bring an under-display Touch ID, but we all know who had it first. So definitely Samsung quicker here to unlock your phone if you were going to go ahead and do an upgrade. Now, from a software perspective, in terms of just what they're running, One UI 5.1 over here, iOS 16.3.1. When you are looking at just the general user interface, both of them are very slick and smooth. However, the iPhone 12 with its 60 Hz is not as smooth or fast looking as the Samsung Galaxy S23. It's more like the S23 is more like an iPhone Pro device these days, whereas the iPhone 12 still kind of like an iPhone 14, and it's just general overall operation with that 60 Hertz panel. So definitely Samsung feels faster, generally just operating through the user interface. And some people say, well, Apple has the smoothest 60 Hertz. That is kind of true, but Samsung's still faster because 120 Hertz is twice as fast as 60 Hertz. So general operations will go to the Samsung here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the application speed now. So everything closed out for both phones. We're going to begin with calendar. You can see pretty much the same. We'll go into clock, and that one looks like Samsung. How about we go through a couple sub menus here, and you'll see pretty much the same in just general applications. We'll go into calculator. You can see pretty much the same. We'll go into weather. You can see Samsung faster there. Well, Apple. Well, it was kind of close because Samsung had the app open. Apple loaded the data a little bit later, but still loaded it faster. You know, pretty much the same though. Not a big difference. These are basic apps so far. App Store, Play Store. And you'll see you'll be getting into your Play Store first over the App Store. We'll go over here to games on both, and the Samsung pretty much neck and neck there. A little faster to load this content on the Samsung though. And man, that scrolling looks choppy on the iPhone by comparison. Hard to see in video, but in reality, you'll see it. We'll go into Instagram, and you'll see Instagram first there. Look like on the right. But when in Instagram, it's fine on both of them. So pretty good. It's pretty nice that the iPhone is not that old. The 12 is not super old, but for it to keep up with the latest, performing Samsung device is pretty cool so far. Let's see if that remains true throughout the rest of this app test. You can see that the Samsung was faster on Twitter, profile, a little bit faster here, and swiping out, pretty good. Now let's go to Amazon on both, and you'll see Amazon first there on the right. So now Samsung taking a couple wins. And gesture performance is about the same animations wise on both of these. We'll go into eBay, and you can see eBay first there on the right. So now Samsung taking the lead. So definitely feeling faster now on the Samsung. We'll go into Groupon, and that wasn't a lag. I got a screen protector on here, so it kind of messes with the gesture sometimes. We'll go into things to do because my finger gets caught on that little screen protector lip at the bottom, messes it up a little bit. But you can see right there, pretty good. We'll go into Best Buy, and you can see Best Buy first there on the left. We'll hit products. Now on the Samsung, cameras and camcorders. Now on the right, let's go into Starbucks, and we're getting coffee first on the right. We'll go ahead and get out of there. We'll go into Dead Trigger 2. See which one can load this first. Historically, Samsung wins that one. Historically, the games would lose on Android phones, but you'll see Samsung in the lead there. So even in the games, it should be faster. And one thing that is would be a pretty good jump is battery life. It's going to be better on the Samsung S23, even though they're the same size. It's much more efficient. So the battery will last longer, especially between these two. And Samsung actually loaded up Asphalt as well, first over the iPhone. Let's go into Crossy Road. And you can see Crossy Road is going to go to the right here. So that's what it's looking like so far. Yep. That one goes to the Samsung phone. Both of them can play these games, no problem. We'll go into Temple Run 2. No issues on either. But we actually see a difference. A lot of my speed tests, we're not seeing much difference, but we're seeing a difference here. The Samsung is taking the lead in many of these applications. So if you're looking at this and you're like, I don't know about Samsung, I haven't tried Samsung before, you have an iPhone 12, you're liking what you're seeing with the S23, you want to try something different, but you're nervous about the performance, don't be. It's going to actually be better than the phone you had. Let's go into Geekbench 6. And the Samsung S23 actually keeps up, and even in a lot of instances is faster than the iPhone 14. So the 13 can't hold it. It's not going to hold the stick to the S23. Let's go into 3D Mark. You can see pretty much similar there. So general applications, the iPhone 12 still holds on, but as we went on through these applications, once we got past like some of the basic apps, Samsung started to take the lead. The animations are quicker, the launch times of the applications appear quicker, and the phone doesn't get as warm as the iPhone 12, and not only that, the battery lasts longer. So I think generally speaking, the Samsung is feeling faster. All right, so let's run it through these RAM management just to see if we get any reloads. We'll start with the iPhone 12 here. And Apple historically does an amazing job here. This has 4 gigabytes of RAM, which is not as much as the 14, but still better than 3 that you'll find on some of the older iPhones. And you'll see right here, Twitter, everything's still looking good here. So people were saying that Apple slows down their old iPhones. They don't do that. Take a look at the iPhone 12 here, performing like a champ in 2023. If a person has an iPhone 12, 12 Pro, 12 Pro Max, and they haven't upgraded, I wouldn't blame them. They're performing just fine. Let's go into 3D Mark, Geekbench 6, and immediately what I'm noticing is, to my eyes, the Samsung just looks so much more buttery smooth. And that's all down to the adaptive refresh rate. Plus, it has a much more vibrant looking display. So it felt just, it's hard to show this on camera, but to my eye, when I just picked up this Samsung after looking at that, it just looked like an upgrade in pretty much every way. So Samsung has nailed it with the RAM management. Their latest optimizations to One UI have definitely brought these phones up, because they were used to lag, and when you turn in landscape, they would twitch and stuff, and animations were weird, choppy sometimes. They're really fixing that here. And you've seen the S23 do just stellar in comparison to the iPhone 12, which also did pretty well in RAM management. All right, so here are the final Geekbench scores, and they're pretty telling. The iPhone winning in the single core, while in actual reality not winning in our testing. When you've seen the applications and stuff, it was pretty much going to the Samsung majority. Just goes to tell that when people, say in the comments, these tests don't really mean anything, I think I quite agree with them. You can see right here in the multi-core score, Samsung winning, but not by a terrible amount. And this phone in my speed test against the 14 held its own and even beat it in many areas. So the Samsung phone, while it doesn't have the best Geekbench scores, doesn't really mean much. But I show these tests to prove to you that, iPhones still get really good scores, but that doesn't mean they always take down the Android phone. We're going to go over here to 3D Mark. And we'll go ahead and run a Wildlife Extreme and just kind of see what results we get from this. Now, this is going to be a separate test where it's going to test more graphics stuff like that. And look how fast the Samsung just loaded that up. By comparison, look at the iPhone over here. So this is what I'm saying. Like, Geekbench is not everything. That's where we're going to run this one. I'll be back when they're done with their final results. And so our final results for wildlife have come in, and you can see not even close. The Samsung annihilates the iPhone 12 with a 3620 versus a 2141. Now, on the average frame rates, you'll find yourself at 12.8 FPS versus 21.7. So that's why I said we do this separate test. This phone scores better than 87% of devices. This one only scores better than 41%. Now, does that say that the Samsung is twice as fast? Maybe in some areas like graphical performance. However, in real world application and real world usage, will the average user notice a big difference in the performance? And I'm going to say yes. So for that reason, I'm going to give the win to the Samsung. Yes, because in speed, what you're going to see is the 120 hertz adaptive refresh. This will be the same as if you went to the iPhone 14 Pro as well. But if you're looking for a phone that's more in the price range of an iPhone 14 and you want better performance, pick the Samsung S23 if you're willing to be open-minded to use different platforms. If you're stuck in the Apple ecosystem, your only option for really experiencing a really big update in performance and real world performance, like something you'll actually feel a lot, is going to be a Pro until at least the iPhone 15, when they potentially bring 90 to 120 hertz on that next model. So that's it for me between the iPhone 12 and the Samsung Galaxy S23 Speed Test. If you guys want to see a full comparison between these two, be sure to drop that comment down below. Get enough of them and I will consider making it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Nick here. Be sure to be well and peace.